Hello, it's Lunchtime with Liz, episode 4. Yay! Glad you're here. This is the card that I'm going to be making today. So, you know, September's here. Pumpkins kind of comes into play. I don't know if you're a pumpkin spice person or not. I'm not so much, but I love these pumpkins. So this is what we're going to be creating today. All right, let me pull that aside. What I'm going to be using, I'll be using Old Olive cardstock. This is just an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock cut in half. So if you have a full sheet of cardstock, you're just cutting it at 4.5 inches. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is you can just fold it, but sometimes you get a funky little crease going on. So I'm going to take this into this is the trimmer, and it has a cutting blade and there's a scoring blade. So I'm going to take that and I'm sliding it over to 4 1/4, and that's where I'm going to score. And we'll get that out of here. And then there's a nice crease right down the center there that makes it easier for folding. Okay, and if I was going to make a lot of cards at one time, I would definitely be using a bone folder. I never thought a bone folder was important until I started making a lot of cards at once. And doing this with your thumb is okay for a card, or maybe 2 cards or 3 cards. You start making 10, 15 cards. This gets really sore on your thumb here. So the bone folder is great. And you get a nice sharp crease too. I would say if you're making any kind of like box type things, any boxes, a bone folder is definitely a must for those sharp creases. So that's our Old Olive cardstock, and that'll be the base. Then I'm using a piece of Vellum cardstock. Vellum, and this is in the annual catalog. So there's Vellum cardstock, and it's 3.5 by 4 3/4 inches. This is Vellum. And then I have a piece of this polka dot paper, and this polka dot paper is taken from, let me show you this here, from Beautifully Penned. This is one of the options of paper that's in the celebration brochure right now, that with a $50 purchase you can get for free. So this is Beautifully Penned. They're all black and white designs, double-sided. Okay, so this piece is from there, and that is 2.5 by 4 1/4 inches. And then the stamp set that I'll be using today is in the mini holiday catalog, and it's called Pretty Pumpkins. It is a rubber cling stamp set. And then I'm going to be using regular Stampin' Write markers. Okay, these are just the regular markers that are in with the cardstock. But this is how I'm coloring today, but you could definitely be coloring multiple ways. You could use Stampin' Blends, you could use watercolor pencils, but I'm going to be using the Stampin' Write markers, and I have Pumpkin Pie, Crumb Cake, and Old Olive. And then I will be using the black and white gingham. Look how pretty this is. It's just cute, actually. It's not necessarily pretty, but just cute and fun. This gingham checked ribbon, and this is in the mini holiday catalog also. Okay, so those are the items. Obviously, I'll be StazOn and some Stampin' Seal and some glue dots. To me, these are just your staples that you need to have in your space, your crafting space at all times. Okay, so let's get started with this. Let's take the vellum here, and I'm going to stamp my pumpkins. Get that well inked. There is a lot of landscaping going on across my street, so it's kind of noisy today. So I don't think it will pick up here, but if it does, I apologize in advance for that. It's life. I'm going to go ahead and just stamp these pumpkins down here. Straight back up. Okay, what I want to do though, if you look at my card, I have a whole bunch of pumpkins, so I want a row of pumpkins. Okay, so what I did is I stamped this image onto a Post-it note, and then I just roughly cut out. It doesn't have to be exact, but I just took scissors and roughly cut that out, and then I'm going to lay that right on top of what I already stamped. And this is called masking. If it's new to you, or maybe it's not new to you, you just haven't done it in a while. And I'm going to stamp right over top. and pull that up. And then you start getting a row and you can get a whole bunch of pumpkins. Okay, so I'm going to do one more on the other side. Just lay this back down again right on top. And then I'm going to stamp this guy over here. Okay. And another good reason that it's to have scratch paper underneath your working surface, because that would make a mess right on my table. So pull that out of here, and this is what we have at this point. What I did, just to give it a little bit softer look to it, I'm going to turn it over on the back side. You could do it right on the front, but I don't want any smearing, and I just want a softer look, so I'm going to turn it over on the back side. And this way you can go right over the lines. You don't have to be super particular about it. This is the pumpkin pie. And I'm using the brush end of this marker. These markers have a writing tip and a brush end. Any questions about anything I'm doing, please feel free to post those in the comments section. Or if there's something in particular that you would like or that you learned today, let me know, and that just gives me an idea of what's helpful. Okay, let's color in these pumpkins. And you're just, yeah, you can kind of go pretty fast with this because you're not worrying about staying directly in the line. I mean, I am staying in the lines, but if it goes a little bit out, a little bit over, just not really a big deal. The markers flow very well. Okay, we're just about done with that. Okay, so those are the pumpkins. Then I did the old olive. Oops, you probably want to cover that up. I took the old olive marker and did the leaves up here. And like I said, you could definitely use blends if you wanted to do blends with this. You could use colored pencils. Again, I like to stick with all the Stampin' Up! Markers and things like that because all the colors coordinate. And I realized I missed a little bit of pumpkin in there. Okay. And then I'm using crumb cake for the stem. Give it a little bit of color. Okay. And we're going to flip that back over. And there we go. And there's our pumpkins. And if you look at that and you think, I just don't like something, I want to fill it in, just go back and do that. No big deal. I have a little more white space than what I would like to have. Okay. So I think we're good. So we're going to flip that over. And then I'm going to stamp the words actually on the top. I love these words. They're really cute. It says, if friends were pumpkins, I'd pick you. Cute. I'm going to stamp that right here at the top. Remember, straight down, straight back up. Depending on how juicy your stays-on pad is, just so it doesn't get, it does dry pretty quickly, but just so it doesn't smear on something I don't want it to, where I stamped right there, I just take it over on my scratch paper on the side, set it down, and just gently rub it. And that way any excess, you see right there, any excess ink comes off there. So it doesn't come off on your fingers or somewhere else where you don't want it. Okay? So that's what we did there. I love it. What do you think? All right. So let's go back. And I'm taking this polka dot piece. On the other side has these leaves. I kind of debated that. What do you think? Look at this way. I don't know. I kind of like that too. The pumpkins you don't see quite as much, but it's kind of a neat look to it. So maybe you can share below what you think if you like that one or the polka dot side. I'm going to stick with the polka dot for now, but I'm kind of Not sure about that one. And I'll take this one and put it, yeah, maybe like an inch up from the bottom. One thing I like, if those of you have been around for a little while with Stampin' Up, the Stampin' Seal, I've noticed I can put on the back here and it doesn't show through. If you remember with the snail that we had before, when you would put adhesive on the back on vellum, you would see right through the other side. So you had to be really careful where you put it. I'm noticing I don't really see through this. I don't see the adhesive through like I did with the snail. So that's great. Put that down. And again, I'm going to turn it on the back side. And there we go. Oh, you know what? I did the wrong side anyway. Ha! I did it. That's okay. Look at that. I ended up putting the polka dots on the underneath side. So look at this. There you go. You'll see the difference between the two. One's with polka dots and one's with the darker black. Which one do you like better? Let me go ahead and do the ribbon. We need the ribbon on here. So I am using the gingham ribbon. I left it on its spool and I'm going out maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7 inches. Okay, so I just want to do a bow. And I know bows scare some people. So let me just see if I can show you what I'm doing with it. I'm going out maybe, like I said, maybe 6 or 7 inches here. And I'm going to make a loop. And then I'm going to make a second loop like this. So this is what I have at this point. 2 loops. Take the loop in my left hand and I'm wrapping it around the top of the other one and push it down and bring it through that hole. And then it's goofy. I mean, you look at it, it's goofy, right? But then you just start playing. Don't think, oh, that didn't come out right. That's not good, because that doesn't look good. But we're going to start playing. Until you get something that you like. You can pull it. Okay, so I think I like that one now. That's good. All right. And then I'm going to just use my scissors. Trim off. And let's grab a glue dot. Glue dot off of here. I'll stick that right on the back. Glue dots and dimensionals. Make sure they're on your table. And we'll take that and I'm going to put it right in here. I don't like this tail so much. We're going to cut that off so we can see the pumpkin a little bit better. And there you go. And that's your card for today. And like I said, there are the two. One with polka dots. One has leaves underneath. So let me know what you think. That's it. Hope you have a great day. Talk with you later. Bye-bye.